We're recording on Friday, November 8th, 2024. These are the science and space headlines we're following on Talkin' Science. Massive Australian launch news. Gilmour Space GO for Australia's first orbital launch attempt. As Southern Launch gets approval for permanent facilities at Whalers Way. Plus, NASA provides details of potential landing sites for Artemis 3.
21 years online. From Star Trek to science and space. And we're not stopping. This is Talkin' Science.
Welcome to the show, coming to you from Darug Country near the banks of the Hawkesbury River here in New South Wales. On location for Trek Zone Media, but have just enough time to tell you about the 7 most important stories happening in the world of science and space here in Australia. My notes just above the lens, so forgive me for looking up every now and then. Let's begin with Minister for Industry and Science Ed Husic MP and the Australian Space Agency granting the country's first orbital launch permit to Gilmour Space Technologies for its maiden Eris rocket launch from the Bowen Orbital Spaceport in North Queensland. An Australian launch permit is required under the Space Launches and Returns Act 2018 to launch an object from Australia to an altitude of over 100 kilometres. It comes with a number of conditions that must be met before launch and a mandatory 30-day notification period. In March, Gilmour's Bowen Orbital Spaceport was granted Australia's first orbital launch facility licence by Minister Husic and was officially opened in April by then Queensland Deputy Premier Cameron Dick. The upcoming Test Flight 1 will be the first of several planned test launches to reach orbit with Eris, which leverages new propulsion technologies developed by the Gold Coast-based company. We will have extensive coverage on Talkin' Science in the weeks ahead from on the ground and wherever we are in Australia. Meanwhile, in South Australia, Southern Launch have been granted all approvals for permanent facilities at the Whalers Way Orbital Launch Complex located on the tip of the Eyre Peninsula. They say work will begin in earnest with the first launches scheduled for late 2025. Whalers Way can accommodate direct ascent trajectories from 55 to 177 degrees, including polar, sun-synchronous orbits and 135-degree inclination, making it one of the most versatile launch sites in the world. Under the approval, the complex will have 2 launch pads, along with associated infrastructure such as vehicle assembly buildings, clean rooms and integration facilities. Approvals have been granted initially for up to 42 launches per year. When Talkin' Science visited Port Lincoln in December 2022, we attempted to learn more about the local opposition to the facility, which centred on 12 endangered bird species, including the southern emu wren and debris splashing down into the Southern Ocean. However, Southern Launch's several hundred-page environmental submission addressed each concern, and the management plans were accepted by the federal and state governments. This program's attempts to talk to local conservationists have not been replied to. Southern Launch and Varda Space Industries, an American microgravity-enabled life sciences company, have received authorisation from the Australian government for a series of returns at the Koonibba test range. This authorisation makes Varda the first company to be able to re-enter spacecraft on land in 2 countries after Varda received a re-entry licence from the US Federal Aviation Authority. The company hopes this achievement will usher in an orbital economy where spacecraft re-entry is as common as launch. The first of the W-Series re-entry missions, W2, is scheduled for early 2025 at the Koonibba test range, which Southern Launch operates in partnership with the Koonibba Community Aboriginal Corporation. That mission includes payloads from NASA and other US government partners, along with Varda's internal research that aims to expand process capabilities and capacity of orbital pharmaceutical hardware. We'll have more on this mission as its re-entry date draws near. The most common types of meteorites that reach Earth are likely to have come from just a few asteroid breakup events, according to 2 international research papers. The first paper analysed data from asteroids in the main belt between Mars and Jupiter and found that a group of asteroids known as the Massalia family appears similar to the meteorites found on Earth. Computer modelling of their data showed that an impact event broke up an asteroid 450 million years ago, creating the Massalia family. The second paper goes on to show that the current influx of meteorites to Earth was likely caused by 3 more recent breakups of asteroids larger than 30 kilometres in diameter diameter and occurred between 5.8 and 40 million years ago in the Massalia, Charon and Coronis asteroid families. Those searching for life on Mars should look within its ice, according to international researchers. The team say life almost certainly can't exist on the surface of the planet due to the radiation from the sun. However, ice deposits in the mid-latitudes could theoretically provide a shield from that radiation, while still allowing enough sunlight through to sustain microbial life. The researchers calculated what that middle ground would be and say ice with just 0.01 to 0.1% of dust in it could provide a habitable area about 5 to 38 centimetres deep, and in cleaner ice, even more habitable areas could be possible between 2.15 and 3.1 metres deep. They say this is all theoretical, and just because life could exist there doesn't mean that it does. But their calculations provide a description of where the search for life on Mars should focus. As NASA prepares for the first crewed landing on the lunar surface in more than 5 decades, the agency has identified an updated set of 9 potential landing regions near the lunar South Pole for its Artemis 3 mission. These areas will be further investigated through scientific and engineering study and will include areas beyond these 9 regions. NASA's cross-agency site selection analysis team, working closely with science and industry partners, added and excluded potential landing regions, which were assessed for their science value and mission availability. The regions contain diverse geological characteristics and offer flexibility for mission availability. The lunar South Pole has never been explored by a crewed mission and contains permanently shadowed areas that can preserve resources, including water. NASA will select sites within regions for Artemis 3 after it identifies the mission's target launch dates, which dictate transfer trajectories or orbital paths and surface environment conditions. Curtin University in Perth has joined forces with NASA, the University of Miami, San Jose State University and the National Institute of Standards and Technology on a new generation satellite mission to study the colour of the ocean from space, providing vital information about ocean health and its role in climate regulation. Researchers recently deployed a 15-metre tall buoy off the coast of Perth, Western Australia, as part of a new project to ensure the data quality for NASA's newly launched Plankton, Aerosols, Clouds, Ocean Ecosystems, or PACE satellite mission. Professor David Antoine, head of Curtin's Remote Sensing and Satellite Research Group in the School of Earth and Planetary Sciences, said the new optical system, known as MarioNet, or the Marine Optical Network, deployed near WA's Rottnest Island, will play a critical role in verifying or ground truthing PACE's satellite observations. TrekZone membership gets you in first releases and first details. Sign up today to get early access and behind the scenes of Australia's only science, space and science fiction podcast network. Facebook, Instagram, X and TikTok and YouTube Shorts all have podcast highlights, so find us wherever you are. For now, this is Talking Science for the 8th of November, 2024.